On April 1st or 2nd, depending on your time zone, we're going to have a full moon in the diplomatic, beauty and harmony loving social air sign of Libra. This full moon, my friend, may bring you a revelation about what is working or not working for you in your relationships, and or an awareness about what you need to prioritize now to bring your life more into balance and equilibrium. Because, my friend, now that we are in fiery Aries season and the new astrological year has begun, we want to take full advantage of this quickening momentum. So, who is most likely to feel this full moon in Libra personally and intensely? What are the planetary conversations that are going on? And how can we move through these energies with the most ease and grace? This and more is what I will be sharing with you in part 1 of this video. And then in part 2, as always, I will do your 12 sign readings, let you know where in your natal chart you're going to be experiencing this full moon, and pull an oracle card for each of the signs. But I highly encourage you to watch part 1 before you jump to your 12 sign reading so you don't miss the most important nuggets of insight that this full moon has for you. If you are brand new to the channel, I want to warmly welcome you. I am so glad that you have found us. This is a like-minded community. If you're highly sensitive, empathic, on a spiritual journey, and you want to be empowered and inspired through Western tropical astrology, you are in the right place. Take a moment to tap the subscribe button and the notification bell so we stay connected and you don't miss a video. Welcome back to you lovely, loyal people who've been watching my videos. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't yet subscribed, if you could take a moment right now to tap subscribe, it will make a huge difference. And if we haven't yet met, I'm Betsy Gutting. I'm a psychic astrologer and intuitive life coach and the author of the book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. It is my passion and dedication to meet you on Zoom for live one-on-one astrology consultations or clarity coaching sessions. So if you are intrigued or you could just use some more support right now, stay tuned till the end of the video. I'll tell you more about my offerings. I also have a free gift for you. Stay tuned. I'll tell you what that is and how you can get it at the end. And I write weekly inspirational astrology updates for you. If you'd like to get those direct to your inbox, you can go to my website, subscribe for free, and get your free instant download gift right away. Now, all full moons are associated with endings, culminations, full circle, graduation moments, or manifestations. Truths can come to light during a full moon. We get illuminated. We tend to see things that we didn't see before in the light of the moon in her fullness. And these revelations are the moon's way of showing you what must be considered, acted upon, or released and cleared out of your life so that you can move forward toward your soul's destiny. And in a sense, during this Libra full moon, we are preparing as we clear, as we shed a skin, as we release any emotions that need processing, which often happens during a full moon. As we do this, we're preparing for the new moon in Aries that will happen 2 weeks later. And that is truly when we feel this new beginning of the astrological new year. That's when we plant the seeds for our year going forward, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. So back to the full moon, you may find yourself releasing a life chapter, assessing your fulfillment or happiness in relationships. You might be more aware than ever of what feels missing or lacking in your life, or any relationship pattern that has left you unfulfilled. Or you could be celebrating a manifestation, something happening for you that you've been working hard to bring into form, and having a party. So you see, full moons can affect all of us very differently, especially when you look at your natal astrology chart and you see, how is this full moon talking to the planets or points in my unique chart? And are they challenging or are they easy and flowing? That gives you clues, and that is something I can, of course, illuminate for you in an astrology consultation. Now, here's the timeline of this full moon. It is a culmination of the Libra new moon that we had 6 months ago, October 21st of 2025. So you might want to look back to October of last year and ask yourself, what was happening for me then? What would I have been seeding intentions for? That could be manifesting or coming to some sort of a close during this full moon. Or this could be a mini culmination of the Pisces new moon that we had 2 weeks before this full moon, February 18th or 19th, depending on your time zone. I felt that moon quite emotionally. I really felt like there was a clearing out of past stuff, an awareness of what I truly wanted to experience more of in my life. And that new moon in Pisces specifically spoke to the old era of Neptune and Pisces washing away, ending, karmic endings especially. So you could have been very aware, this isn't right in my life. This has to change. This has been going on too long. This is unfair. I could even feel like this is unfair and just wrong. And you may have gotten some revelation or some insight, especially regarding love, self-worth, relationships, what needs forgiving, where you need to give yourself or another much more compassion, and whether or not your emotional needs are being fulfilled in your life, and whether they're being validated and honored by the people closest to you. Those same themes could come up during this Libra full moon, especially because Libra is ruled by Venus and very connected to relationships. Now, during every full moon, the sun and the moon are opposite each other on the zodiac wheel. So during this one, we have the sun in fiery Aries, just say yes, the go-getting, let's get into new territory, let's do something we haven't done before, let's think about what we can accomplish going forward and get inspired, get ignited. That's Aries. Aries is focused on the self, the I am. What do I want? What do I need? What's best for me? Whereas the moon, opposite the Aries sun in Libra, is focused on we, my relationships. Where do I feel like I want to join with others to accomplish something or to enjoy ourselves? And it's not just romantic partnerships, not by a long shot. It's any time that we team up with another person at work, in friendship, in business partnerships. And it doesn't have to be a formalized partnership either. It's any relationship in which we have the other person's back and they have our back. We feel like there's a mutual reciprocity between us. There's balance, give and take. There's a sense of we care about each other. We have each other's backs. This is somebody that I can trust. Or it could be a partner in your life and you could feel like, no, I have trust issues. This is not, don't feel like I can trust this person. Or maybe there's been a pattern in your relationships where trust issues have come up. Those core wounds that we talk about, abandonment, betrayal, or shame, they often come up as themes, at least one of them in our relationships, right? And of course, we are meant to heal that core wound, but that can be a practice that we practice throughout our lifetimes. So Libra energy is cardinal air. The cardinal signs are what we call the initiators of the zodiac. They start a season. You could say that Libra energy is the most go-getting when it comes to being social. There's a desire to communicate. There's a desire to share ideas, bounce things around, have brainstorms, have heart storms. The love language, because Libra is an air sign, and remember, we're all feeling this Libra energy during this full moon. The love language is words of affirmation. And most importantly, whatever is really up for you emotionally during this full moon, because we feel full moons more emotionally, we feel them more in our relationships because they are oppositions, us and the other. Whatever comes up for you, the core of it could be your need for support, your need to know that you can trust the other. And of course, that begins with trusting ourselves. And whenever I talk about Libra energy, I often hear from at least one of you, I'm not interested in relationships. I don't want to be in a relationship. What about me? Well, you're always in relationship with yourself. You're in relationship with your higher self, your soul, the divine, however you want to describe it. But also, any interaction that we have is a relationship in that moment, right? So we can't get away from our own relationship patterns as much as we might want to. And as much as anything else that could be illuminated for you during this full moon, it might be your own sense of emotional well-being and any pattern or dynamic or something rooted in your childhood perhaps and or past lifetimes that has kept you from feeling in alignment with yourself, with another, with your own happiness. Because we all have a relationship to our feelings, right? We all have a relationship to our fulfillment or lack thereof. Now, Libra, being ruled by Venus, is connected to beauty, pleasure. Now, Libra, being ruled by Venus, is not just about love and relationships, although those are key themes for sure, but also beauty, pleasure, creativity. And Venus is also connected to any of our preferences, especially our aesthetic preferences and the kind of music that we like, the kind of food that we want to eat, but also our money. Big picture, Venus is what we are attracted to and what we attract to us. Our attractor field, so to speak, and how that is often made up of our thoughts, our thinking, our beliefs. That could come up for you during this full moon. Do we need to change our thinking about what we most want to attract into our lives, for example? Now, in Venus ruled Libra energy, we want to make love, not war. We are conciliatory. We have a desire to get along, create harmony. Basically, we want things to feel good. We want it to be lovely. And this is why we say that Librans can be the diplomats or the peacemakers of the zodiac. And it has been said that all relationships are based on spoken or unspoken agreements. This is Libra territory. This is another thing that could be illuminated for you during this full moon. Are we on the same page with our agreements? Do we need to renegotiate them? And does the way that we carry out these spoken or unspoken agreements, does it feel balanced in your relationships? Or is there an imbalance because Libra rules the scales, and you can see I'm weighing things with my hands here. In Libra energy, we have an inherent sense, we sense energetically if things are in balance or not. We want fairness. We want, this is very justice oriented, and we can feel quite moral about it. What's right? What's wrong? Is there equal give and take? As well as, are we feeling respected? Are we feeling honored by whomever is in our consciousness during a full moon like this? Do we feel seen, heard, appreciated, valued? And if you're not feeling these things, you may feel called to restore balance by setting clear boundaries, by advocating for your needs and priorities, by having a conversation that you may not want to have, but may nevertheless need to have for your own well-being. Anything that feels out of alignment or unfair. If you feel anger or frustration, that would be very natural during this time. The theme of karmic justice could come up. You could also feel a strong desire to be made whole again, to be restored to wholeness if you experienced a loss in relationship, and it could have been a long time ago. You could have lost a home, a role in your family, a job or sense of identity, or your physical health or vitality. Now, the lower expression of Libra energy is codependence, being too nice, being too accommodating, sweeping things under the rug, avoiding conflict, allowing resentment, anger, frustration to build up. And oftentimes there's blame of the other person too. We don't always take accountability for our part in the matter, especially if that anger or resentment is really strong. We could be completely focused on what they did wrong or what they should do to change. In other words, feeling victimized by another person's behavior, their lack of presence or appreciation for what we do. You get the idea. If you do, my friend, awaken to a relationship pattern or dynamic that you have seen play out in more than one of your relationships, because as they say, how we do one thing is how we do everything. How we do one relationship is how we tend to do all relationships. Yes, we do grow and evolve. Yes, we do have new patterns that we can grow into. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the relationships that seem to go the same way, potentially end the same way, where we feel unfulfilled. And so if that does come up for you, this full moon could be quite freeing for you. Once you see a pattern, you can't go back, right? Then you can begin to rewire your thoughts, change a belief, and positively shift the energy. That's a moment of celebration, in my view, because now you're free to start fresh, become new again, and that is what Aries season is all about. So I want to share with you the planetary conversations going on during this full moon. They give us clues to the story that is likely to play out. But before I do, I want to share who will most feel this full moon in Libra. It is happening at 12 degrees. So those of you who have planets or points between 8 and 16 degrees of Libra or the other cardinal signs, Aries, Cancer, or Capricorn, you will feel this full moon most personally, most intensely. However, even if you don't have planets or points between these degrees of the cardinal signs, wherever you have 12 degrees of Libra in your chart, you will at the very least feel the themes that I just talked about up to a week before, a week after this full moon. We definitely tend to feel new and full moons collectively. And with everything going on right now, the intensity, the chaos, the war, devastating flooding, and other extreme weather events going on, I hope that we will feel the peacemaking energy of Libra on a collective level. Okay, so how are the planets talking to each other during this full moon? This is the first lunation and full moon involving important Aries energy. Remember, the sun is in Aries. The first one since Saturn and Neptune made their 0-degree conjunction on February 20th, which was a really big deal. I have a separate video for you on that conjunction, but it represented the birthing of a new era. And for us personally, it represented a new dream, the new territory, the new life chapter, the new whatever it is for you, vision that you want to co-create going forward. And even though the Libra moon is not tightly opposite the 0-degree Aries point, you could still notice something coming to a head or something culminating that is quite important. And we want to remember with Neptune energy, Neptune now in Aries, sometimes the first thing that happens before we get that inspiration, before we feel that, yes, I'm going to go for this in my life, or yes, I want this, yes, I'm going to take action, before that happens, often we have to let something go first. That can be one way that Neptune plays out. So if that's happening for you, my friend, if you're going through a grief process, I want to acknowledge that that is often the first phase of us recreating, reinventing, beginning that fresh start, new dream. Now, because Venus is the ruler of this full moon, we want to look at what is going on with Venus. She is in Taurus, where she is at home, and she is quite strong here. Sensual, earthy, feel good. I want to feel good, Taurus. I want to experience the earthly pleasures of life. Beauty, comforts, pleasure, all the things that probably gave us the incentive to come here in these bodies, knowing it would be a challenging earthly adventure anyway. Venus in Taurus will be making a square, an aspect of tension or pressure, to Pluto, Pluto, the great detoxifier. During the full moon, Venus is approaching Pluto. In other words, it's what we call an approaching aspect, which can still feel quite strong, and it will be exact 2 days after the full moon. Do I love Venus squaring Pluto? No, I do not. It's a soul evolutionary transit. In short, it wants us to detox anything out of our life that is not good for us. It's not healthy for us. It wants us to be aware of our patterns, especially in love, money, beauty, pleasure, and things that we can be very attached to or even addicted to. It wants us to let them go, set clear boundaries, release any connections to anyone or anything that might be shady, deceptive, anyone, for example, that doesn't have our best interests at heart. Or what could happen for you is that something that you really want to bring into your life, a heart's desire. This is Venus, after all, what we're attracted to, right? Whatever that is for you, it could be bringing up dark fears. That's Pluto, darkness. Fears that were unconscious before that are rising to the surface for you to process, purge, release. And because Venus is the lover and Pluto in hard aspect, with Venus can be destructive or cruel or emotionally manipulative, shocking, or even violent. Of course, we're already seeing horrible violence in our world. But because of this, you really want to be aware of your boundaries and even boundaries to news and information. Often taking in too much of that or seeing images on the screen can be really toxic to our nervous systems, to our well-being. This transit is definitely unfavorable for the financial markets, and it could reveal some sort of what feels to you like a dark truth coming to light, themes of betrayal, codependent patterns, power struggles. So how do we work with this energy? We want to be fiercely honest with ourselves. Process our fears about love, relationships, security, self-worth, money, whatever's coming up for you. And if you are in any situation, my friend, that is toxic for you, please do whatever you can to get out of that situation, to get the support that you need. And if you're on the fence about something, listen to your intuition, trust your gut. Your gut instincts will tell you. Venus and Taurus, we know in our gut what is right for us. Now, there is light flooding in at the same time with this full moon. The good news is that Saturn in Aries, Saturn being boundaries, what is morally right and correct, the wise teacher, the wise elder, we all have that person within us, and we all can turn to somebody as an advisor that can share with us their wisdom as well. Saturn and Aries will make a harmonious sextile to Pluto. So while Venus and Pluto are squaring off, Saturn and Pluto are working harmoniously together in a constructive way. How do we best work with this energy? Slow down, step back, be aware of any emotional impulses that would not be productive, the things you might want to say or do, lash out, for example. Saturn in Aries says, process your own frustrations, anger, sadness, emotions, whatever they are, first. Take care of you first so that you can approach any situation that could be very heightened emotionally. You can approach that with calm and with your own clear intention of hopefully coming from love. And I know these are not the easiest things to maneuver, my friend, to navigate. But the same theme, because it's Pluto, boundaries is always a clear theme. And remember, Saturn in Aries with Pluto is helping us to create a solid, sustainable foundation, something enduring, something lasting, something that could be quite passionate for you, because Pluto's passion too. We can be pulled forward by a vision, or we can be pushed by pain, says Michael Bernard Beckwith. I love that quote. But also in Pluto energy, we can be quite obsessed with something or someone because of our passion. And Saturn's going to say, okay, let's bring that all down to earth. Let's put both feet on the ground and handle this in the most wise, compassionate, present, dignified way, honoring everyone involved. Now, we also have another supportive aspect between Mars, planet of action, and Uranus in Taurus. It's another sextile, which helps us to create a positive workaround, a solution, or to have an opportunity come to us. When we take the initiative, we have to take the initiative with a sextile. We have to take some step. We have to see that there's a need for something and have an intention. And then that's when the universe meets us halfway. That's a sextile. And then we follow up on it. Basically, we say, I'm not happy in this situation, whatever it is for you, and this is what I would want instead. And then we look for the opportunity, and that's when things tend to go our way. But Mars is in Pisces, where it is not strong. In Pisces energy, we are not as assertive generally. Doesn't mean we can't be, but Pisces is more go with the flow, ride with the tide. I don't want to push this. And often too, Mars and Pisces just would rather enjoy something that feels more pleasurable. Not to say that Pisces people are not very hard workers. They are. I am amazed by what a lot of people with strong Pisces accomplish. But Mars in Pisces as an energy is more of a lover than a fighter. That said, Mars making a harmonious sextile with Uranus and Taurus means that you could have a new awareness and epiphany and aha moment that has you shifting your view of things, shifting your perception, so that you're now seeing from a positive vantage point. You're seeing with new eyes, as we say, and this could be an opportunity or an option, a choice that you didn't see before. So that's two wonderful opportunity solution kinds of transits. And then finally, Mercury in Pisces. This would be our communication, our news, the information that is communicated to us, that we're communicating to others, our emails and conversations, and our divine downloads, communications with source. This is Pisces energy, after all, with the highest octave of Pisces being divine love, unconditional love, compassion, self-compassion. So through this higher level way of communicating, let's say coming from love, receiving the love of the divine, Mercury in Pisces is exactly trining Jupiter, which is now direct in Cancer. And in Cancer energy, Jupiter in Cancer wants emotional bonding, security, feel good. I have your back, you have my back. I can count on you. We're like family members. In Cancer energy, we want to feel like family. In the best expression of that, the warmest, most loving expression that you could have with family, that is. So with this trine, it's the best aspect we can have in the sense that there's an ease and flow, and there's nothing we really have to do to receive what is meant for us. With a trine, it's meant for you. It is a land in your lap kind of transit. This is wonderful support for feeling like your emotional needs are being met. And I think it's going to be very healing for anyone who is doing any sort of shadow work or any kind of healing during this full moon. If you have felt neglected, my friend, in your relationships, in your childhood, for example, if your feelings were not validated by your parents or caregivers, and in your adult life by partners, this could be a tremendously healing transit for any kind of a core wound of feeling abandoned or betrayed or shamed in relationship, or for healing an unfulfilling dynamic like that. We also want to keep in mind that Mercury is now direct, so is Jupiter. However, Mercury is still retracing its steps back through the degrees through which it did retrograde. In other words, it is going back over its retrograde degrees, which we call the post-retrograde shadow period. That means we're integrating, we're applying what we learned during the retrograde. We're applying this to any situation that is coming up. Or if something still needs fixing, still needs shifting or correcting, that might happen very easily during this full moon. If you need to have a conversation with someone, my friend, this is the time to do it. What a beautiful flowing aspect between Mercury and Jupiter. That is so expansive. It is feel good. It's good fortune. It's a blessing. It's both of you on the same page, aligned together in harmony, which is what we really want in Libra energy. Okay, my friend, let us do your 12 sign readings now. Listen to your rising sign. This is the area of your natal astrology chart, the house in which you are likely to feel this full moon, the themes that are involved, and also watch your sun and moon signs for further themes and intuitive messages that are likely to be relevant during this full moon. And we're going to start with Libra because beautiful Libra, this is your full moon. Libra, it's happening in your first house of you. It is a full moon. And so the full moon is an ending, culmination, full circle moment, something ending, something leaving your life perhaps, or something manifesting. The first house, the house of you, corresponds to your identity. When you say the words I am, how do you describe yourself? What roles are important to you? Because Libra, as you well know, the word priority, prioritize, those are very important words for you. We can't do everything. We don't have unlimited energy. I wish we did, but we do have limitations, right? And it's interesting, Libra, that Saturn and Neptune are opposite you right now on the zodiac wheel. And so you could be feeling, especially if you have planets or points in the very early degrees of your Libra energy, especially your rising sign, well, any planet in your first house, if you happen to be an early degree rising, or you have an early degree sun or moon or Venus, any energy in Libra, you could be feeling the Saturn Neptune opposition. And what does that mean? It means that we can feel even more restricted. We can feel even more limited in our energy, for example. So how this relates to you, it could relate to a role that you play, whether it's personal or at work. It could relate to your physical vitality, your health. It could relate to your appearance, your look, how you want people to see you, how you see yourself. It could actually affect any area of your life because it's an angle of your chart, and across from your first house is your descendant angle. That's your partnerships. Then we have the 10th house angle, which is your midheaven, and that's career, retirement, semi-retirement, and how you spend your time. And then below that, across from the 10th house, we have the 4th house, and that is your home and family. So any of those areas could get pinged, so to speak, activated by this full moon, and you could feel it in any area of your life for that reason. So Libra, the question that I have for you is, what feels like it's completing? And is there something that you want to take its place? Or, do you feel like there's a chapter ending? Do you feel like there's a new chapter that wants to start, or a decision that you're making? This could be an important decision point. Often during full moons, we do make some sort of choice, especially if we feel like something's coming to a head and we have to make a decision. You could feel that too. So I really want to encourage you to go back and watch where I talk about the different transits that are happening, the activations, because Pluto's involved, Uranus is involved with one of the planets. There's a lovely Mercury, Jupiter trine. There's a lot of really lovely, but also some challenging aspects to this full moon. And that will tell you, it will give you much more of a sense of how this full moon might play out for you. But not just that, it's also, I also give you tips. I give you tips on how do you navigate? How do we navigate Pluto and Venus squaring off, for example? So, Libra, with all that, I want to pull a card for you, and just know that that it's very natural during a full moon in your sign to be shifting your sense of self in some way, or to be shifting a role. And some of you might want to ask for a promotion. Some of you might want to leave a job and start your own business. Some of you may be going through something big or an ending in a relationship. And others of you could be, thinking about adding to your family, or you could have a lot of extra responsibilities during this time, or a responsibility that feels like it's weighing on you, especially if Saturn is opposing you directly in your chart, depending on the planet's points in your chart, the degree points. And that's something, of course, that I can always illuminate for you in an astrology consultation. So let me pull a card for you now, and let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Libra. And happy Aries season. It's time for us to start fresh and begin anew and, go into fresh new territory. Let's see what your card is, Libra. Boundaries. I mean, this is so perfect considering that Aries energy is across from you. The sun is in Aries, and that's the seventh house. That's any relationships that are important to you, any relationships that you would consider some sort of a partnership, whether it's agreed upon openly or it's unspoken. Boundaries. This says set boundaries, protect your precious time and energy. And that's a big part of the Pluto energies that are going on during this full moon. There are two different Pluto aspects. One is more harmonious, one is harder, but either way, Pluto is always about boundaries. I talk about that in part 1 of this video. Beautiful Libra, if you want to claim your boundaries, I love this image. I love all the blue. There's a lot of throat chakra energy here, speaking your truth, standing up for yourself, not letting yourself get involved in a power struggle, because we know with power struggle someone has to let go of the rope, and if both people are if it's a tug of war, what's the point, right? But look, she's zoomed out, she's checking out, she's approaching it from her power. I mean, look at the swirl of energy coming out of her hand, the swirl of light. To me, this is your power to create and manifest. With her hand, the light that's coming off of her pointer finger, she is intending the direction that she wants her life to go. Beautiful Libra, if anything I shared resonates and you want to share in the comments, let me know. I'd love to hear. Virgo. Hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, you are going to experience the Libra full moon in your second house of material security, earned income, self-worth, deserving. Virgo, this full moon is asking you, do you feel fulfilled when it comes to your material security? We use that word wealth a lot, right? And there's so many connotations to it, but what is wealth for you? What is security for you? Do you feel like all of your needs are met, or do you want to earn more money? Do you want to shift the way you make money? Do you feel that you could be valuing yourself more? Do you feel that you do deserve what you most desire? And even the subconscious, right? Because we can consciously say, I deserve this, but subconsciously, there can still be a part of us that doesn't feel worthy because of the conditioning that we received, the environment in which we grew up, oftentimes. I've just been really looking at this theme of feelings not being validated. I would say the vast majority of us, especially very empathic people, highly sensitive, empathic people, and Virgo, you are very, very sensitive. The vast majority of us, when we were growing up, our feelings were not validated. I will tell you that was the case for me for sure. But I'm sharing this because it's a common theme for empaths. And I think it's something that came up for some people during the Pisces new moon for clearing, for shifting. And I think that we can do that during this Libra relationship focused full moon as well, and really turn the page, turn over into a new chapter where we can have more fulfilling relationships. Now, this isn't a relationship house, it's your second house. It's really a house about you and you feeling like you are self-reliant and you can take care of all of your material needs. But I also think, especially given that the new moon, that energy flowed into this full moon, and that was in Pisces across from your energy. I do feel that there are probably many people who are working with this theme of self-worth and deserving, whether it has to do with your emotions or it has to do with meeting your physical needs. Either way, that could come up for you as well. Remember, it's a full moon, so it's a manifestation, an ending, something closing out. An income source could be closing out for you. You could be thinking about what do you want instead. Or you could be up leveling and having a desire to up level your sense of self-worth. This could be a real manifesting kind of full moon for you, where you're thinking about your ability to co-create and manifest. But because it's Libra, there are those themes of relationship that I go into at length in part 1. So definitely go watch part 1 if you haven't already, because that's where I share the tips and the insights and the nuggets that apply to everyone. And I don't want you to miss that, beautiful Virgo. So let's see what the cards have to say for you, for your full moon in Libra, Virgo. Your card is blessings. Yay. Blessings. It says, count your blessings. A grateful heart attracts more joy, love, and prosperity. Blessings are coming to you. We have to count our blessings so that we can attract, so that we're basically telling, this is actually about manifesting, so that we can let the universe know what our heart most wants, right? This is joy, love, prosperity, whatever it is for you. By being grateful, and I know that you all already know this, it's just a reminder. That's how we manifest. That's really how it's one of the best ways to manifest. It's a great tool for manifesting anyway. And I love how this card is similar to the card I just pulled for Libra, where the light is coming off of her finger. There's something about hands in the first 2 cards that we've gotten already about we channel energy through our hands. Using your hands and imagining that your hands can connect to the power of manifesting. Beautiful Virgo, if anything that I shared resonates and you want to share with me, I'd love to hear. Leave me a comment. Leo, hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, you're going to experience the Libra full moon in your 3rd house of moving and shaking. The 3rd house is the mercurial house. It is where we are we're in action. We're in action in the 3rd house, or it's our communication and our thinking and our mindset, the inner narrative, the story that we're telling about our life. But it often involves emails, meetups with people, coffee dates, lunch, or dinner rendezvous. Like, it is where we want to make something happen, the 3rd house. So transportation falls here. Our devices fall here. Aunts, uncles, cousins, those relationships, or relationships with our siblings, our hood, our neighbors, if I didn't say that, the transactions that we make, buying and selling. If you have your own website, if you are a freelancer or an independent contractor, or you have your own business, any kinds of, like how you do your website, how it's set up, how you make your sales of products or services, that's involved in that, and that's the third house as well. It's everything local, your local environment, and because it's also where we are learning and we're growing. It could be a course that you're taking, it could be writing a blog, it could be you taking some sort of a short trip, you investigating something. Like, I don't know why this is coming to me, but many years ago when with my former partner, we built a custom home, I flew to California where I grew up, and I sourced Mexican tile from this tile shop in California that they just had very, very good prices. I purchased it there and I had them send it to our home in Seattle that we were building. And it was just like, it was a really cool long weekend thing to do. And it was actually cost effective to do it that way. So it's where we can kind of finesse deals as well. And during a third house full moon, we're really asked to pay attention to our thoughts and how we're thinking about what we want to co-create, because it really is a manifesting house in that sense. And also relationships with siblings, for example, or relationship with a landlord or a mortgage broker, or you could be doing online dating and you could be meeting up with people for coffee dates or dinner dates or whatever. But those things, our thinking is really important when it comes to those things going well, right? We want to set up our thinking in the way that will support the intention that we have. So because it's a mercurial house, it brings in intention as well. And in part one of this video, I talk about all the different themes that may come up and the aspects that are happening. We've got 2 aspects between planets and Pluto, the great detoxifier. Boundaries are a big theme during this full moon. I'll let you watch part one. I'm not going to repeat everything I said there. That was for all the signs. But because you could be out and about, you could be meeting people. Oftentimes during a full moon, we want to get out. The energy is so heightened. We want to go to a party, or we want to have a dinner date. We want to do something to, it can be quite celebratory energy, a full moon. And there is a beautiful trine between Mercury and Jupiter too. So you might feel that. But be discerning, Leo, be discerning. So let's see what the cards have to say for you for this Libra moon. And Libra energy does make a sextile to your energy, which is quite harmonious, wonderful for new opportunities and solutions. So let's see, Leo. For your Libra full moon, Leo. Pleasure, yes. Pleasure, going out, having fun. It says, you're going to laugh. It says, do something just for fun. Oh my goodness. It says, pleasure is one of life's essential nutrients. I love that quote so much. Pleasure is one of life's essential nutrients. Leo, I don't think I need to convince you of that. Knowing the Leos that I know personally, I do not think they need to be convinced that pleasure is one of life's essential nutrients. I love that you love celebrating and that you are often one to say yes to joy. I mean, after all, the 5th house is your house, and that is all about pleasure and fun. I'm not saying this is a 5th house full moon for you. It's a 3rd house. But I love all of the bubbles in this card and the playfulness of the cat trying to pop the bubble. And, it's just a beautiful feel good, the purple, the pink. It just feels very dreamy, this card. Enjoy your Libra full moon, beautiful Leo. Cancer. Hello, beautiful Cancer. Cancer, I have my moon and rising. I'm part of your Cancer family. And we are going to experience this full moon in our 4th house, the 4th house of roots, belonging, your home, your family, your ancestral line. This is a great full moon for doing inner child healing, self-compassion, shadow work on, any needs that were unmet when you were a child, and talking to that inner child perhaps, or realizing I think this is something that a lot of Cancers experienced as children, where their emotional needs were not met in some way, whether it's because your feelings were invalidated, not to put blame on parents or any caregivers, parents who don't know how to validate their own or even know what they're feeling are not able to do that for their children. And so, you know, a lot of Cancers were parents to their own parents. They were mothers to their own mothers as children. So I get it. I understand it. I've been there myself. But this is a full moon that could really have you making strides on healing that, on moving past that, on learning even more, practicing. It's a practice to validate your own emotional, you know, your own feelings, and to meet your own emotional needs, or to be able to communicate with another if that's not happening in relationship, because after all, it's Libra energy and it's a lot about relationships. Now, because it's your home and family, you could have something come up with a family member. Full moons are sometimes endings of relationships, or where we have to set really clear boundaries. That's a big theme with this full moon, with the Pluto energies I discuss in part 1. Also home, there could be an ending in your home. You could realize that you want to move or that you need to move. That could be something that you begin to plan if you haven't already, or you could actually be moving around this full moon time, with the hope, I should say intention, with the intention of finding your place of belonging, finding where you do want to belong, or making any changes to your home. The idea, purpose would be to feel more rooted, to feel more at home and anchored and grounded where you most want to be. Beautiful Cancer. So, and this is a good full moon to call on your ancestral, any ancestors that you want to work with that are on the other side, the grandmothers, for example, grandmothers, grandfathers, wise ancestors, any, you know, obviously any guides that you work with, but because it's the 4th house, it could be someone from your mother line specifically. Okay, so let's see what the cards have to say for you. Beautiful Cancer. Good boundaries, being discerning, saying no to what is maybe seems okay or good enough, passing up good for great. Okay, Cancer. Because you deserve the best, beautiful Cancer. You deserve the best, and you deserve to have your own heart. You're such a good nurturer of others. You're such a sweet, devoted person in relationship. You deserve to receive that same love and devotion back. Okay, Cancer. And the card is peace. Often what we most want, right, on a very deep level, we want peace. We want deep inner peace. This says, embrace your confusion. If you feel confused, let there be peace in not knowing all the answers. I love this card. You don't have to know all the answers. The mind thinks it needs all the answers now. The mind thinks there's something wrong if we don't have the answers, right? My mind does. My mind, if we don't know the answer yet, the mind gets worried. My mind gets worried. But the answers will come when they need to come in their own time. Doesn't mean we can't ask for them. Doesn't mean we can't pray for them. Doesn't mean we can't. Obviously, it's wonderful to ask for guidance, but in the meantime, our nervous system needs a break. So let there be peace in not knowing all the answers. Beautiful Cancer. If you want to claim your peace in the comments, let me know. I'd love to hear. Gemini. Hello, beautiful Gemini. I have my natal sun in Gemini, and you, if you are a Gemini rising especially, are going to experience this full moon in your 5th house of love, romance, creativity, your free, unbridled creative expression, inner child delight, children that are your children or children that you spend time with or you work with, and your own just pleasure, comfort, feeling free, feeling like you can have fun just for the sake of fun. A lot of us could definitely enjoy more fun. So what a beautiful place to have a full moon, Gemini. What could be happening for you during this full moon? Any of those themes that I just mentioned. You could be finishing a creative project. You could be putting something, your creative baby, out into the world. You could be culminating a love or romance. You could be realizing that there's a pattern, emotional pattern in your relationship. If you have a lover or any sort of romance spouse, you could be realizing that there's, or boyfriend, girlfriend, you could be realizing that there's something, a pattern that needs to shift. That could come to light. That could be illuminated for you. You could realize that you're not having as much creativity. You're not engaging enough in creative pursuits as would be good for you, as you would enjoy. And that could be an aha moment for you. Take care of your inner child during this full moon. You could find out you're pregnant. You could release a dream or a project, a creative project, or a love that just isn't right for you anymore. Remember, full moons are manifestations or endings. You know, they are, this full moon is preparing us for the Aries new moon, which is really the first transit, so to speak, in which we are fully embodying the new. It's like the true kickoff of the astrological new year. We sometimes think of the equinox as that kickoff, but it's when we have that new moon that we're seeding intentions for what we most want to experience, which you can do during the equinox too, I have to say. But this full moon is really preparing us, saying release, let go, anything that needs to be emotionally purged. This is the time to do it so that we can go in with a fresh, clean slate, a brand new, fresh canvas for our Aries new moon. So Gemini, let us see what the cards have to say for you. And because it's Libra energy, it trines your energy. It's a really beautiful, beautiful, simpatico ease, the wind filling up your sails, Gem. I love that. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say for Gemini. For the Libra full moon, relationships will very possibly be a big theme. And yes, somebody could come into your life for sure during this time that is, you know, related to love, romance, or something that delights your inner child. Okay, so your card is guidance. Ask for guidance. The divine will meet your every need. I love those words. The divine will meet your every need. I love how he is looking at a book. This reminds me of the Akashic Records. I feel like he's looking into the Akashic Records. He's gathering information. He's reading. That's very you, Gemini. And or, you know, maybe this is a book that he wrote. What does this card inspire you to do? There's an owl on his shoulder or next to his shoulder, giving him owl wisdom. You have all the wisdom you need to move forward. Ask for guidance if you need it. The divine will meet your every need. Beautiful Gem. If you want to claim this in the comments, let us know. I'd love to hear. Taurus. Hello, beautiful Taurus. You're going to experience your Libra full moon in the 6th house of health, wellness. This is wellness on all levels, emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual. Your daily routines, schedules, your daily life, your work, your coworkers, your work environment, your lifestyle, and your pets. It's a full moon, so something is completing, closing out, or manifesting in any of these areas of your life. So what is it for you, Taurus? What are you ready to release, shed, let go of? It could be the way you eat. It could be an addiction. It could be your nervous system has been too amplified and you want to start a new practice of meditation or breathing or something that's going to calm your nervous system and shift the rhythm of your daily life. This house is really about how we manage our energy, the rhythm of our daily life. Or you may want to change your work. Maybe you're leaving a job. I hope that no one gets let go from their job, although when that happens, then I've never seen anyone not say later, I'm so glad that happened, but I know that that's very, very difficult when it is happening. You could voluntarily walk away from a project, a job, something that you have been doing that's just not working for you anymore. This is a relationship sign, Libra, and that means, and of course you're ruled by Venus, just like Libra's ruled by Venus, but because it's a relationship sign, something could come up for you in your relationship with coworkers, with a boss, with a pet, or where you work out. Anyone, if you, for example, you buy supplements or you buy water or you buy certain foods from somebody and they're delivered to your house, for example, it could bring up a relation, especially if you know that person, it could bring that up. Anything to do with the themes that I mentioned, Taurus. So, always I ask you guys, what does your heart most want during this time? We're in Aries season now. We're ready to have a fresh start. This is a release, let go, shed, emotionally process, purge what is no longer right for us in our life, or manifesting something, whatever you were thinking about during that Pisces new moon, manifesting that, seeing something begin to. Usually takes 6 months before a really big manifestation happens, but not always, not always. So different for all of you, but beautiful Taurus. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, for your Libra full moon. I talk at length in part 1 about the aspects going on, what they mean, the need to set boundaries, the need to purge anything toxic from our lives. So if that's coming up for you, that would be, that's very supported to let go of anything toxic for sure. So let's see, Taurus, let's see what the cards have to say for you. And it could just be your own habit. Habits fall in this house. It could be a habit that is not good for you that you want to change. Taurus, great time to let go of a habit with a full moon in your 6th house. And obviously not a habit that you don't want to keep going. Now the card for you is so beautiful. It's rejuvenation. What a perfect card for the 6th house. The house of managing our energy, how we use our energy, how we feel, our health, rejuvenation. So perfect. It says, get a good night's sleep. Does that resonate? Get a good night's sleep. Rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. Well, if this isn't so perfect for a 6th house full moon, I don't know what is. You might want to have a little beach getaway. Doesn't that look good? Get a hotel overlooking the ocean. I wouldn't mind that myself. Oh my gosh, this reminds me of Laguna Beach, where I grew up and where I lived for 7 years pretty recently. So, so beautiful. Are you ready to claim your rejuvenation and a good night's sleep, beautiful Taurus? If so, let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear. Aries. Hello, beautiful Aries. Aries, you're going to experience this Libra full moon in your opposite sign in your 7th house of committed relationships, whether they are romantic, business, best friendships, relationships with adult children, close relationships with people that you spend a lot of time with. Sometimes these can be work relationships, especially if there's some relationship dynamic that's going on, for example, with a coworker or a boss. That could fall here as well. So when we have a full moon in our 7th house, of course, relationship dynamics come to the fore. But it could also be that some of you, and I know you don't all want to be in partnership and relationship. Whenever we have a 7th house transit, I often hear that in the comments, but there's the relationship between you and yourself. There's the relationship between you and your soul. And that is what my book is about, how to romance your own soul, how to have a deeper connection with your own higher self. Check that out if that resonates for you, if that's something you want. But what could be coming up for you is a relationship dynamic or pattern that even if you're not in a partnership right now, business or romantic, you could be feeling the lack of that. You could be feeling like, I want that, and I want to know why I haven't been able to manifest it. I want to know why that hasn't happened in my life. Why haven't I met the right person? What is it about this? What are the dynamics underneath that? That could come to light. Would be a wonderful illumination to have during this full moon. So that could happen for you too, Aries. Or you could be manifesting. You could have someone walk into your life. So that happens sometimes on full moons. Or you could be letting go of a dynamic, a pattern, or an actual stepping away from a relationship or setting boundaries in a relationship. All of that is very well supported. Aries, be sure and watch part 1 of this video where I talk about all the aspects. Pluto is involved in 2 of the aspects. Pluto wants us to detoxify. Pluto does not want us to stay in unhealthy situations. If that resonates, I talk about that in part 1. And then we've got a Uranus aspect with Mars. There's a lot going on with the planets during this full moon. So that will give you more clues about the story of this full moon for everyone. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Aries. And happy Aries season, and happy birthday to those of you who have birthdays in April or the end of March when this video is going live. And your card is Revelation. Yes. Listen to your life. The right path will reveal itself. What do you want a revelation about? Are you ready for a breakthrough? There's a little bit of glare here. Sorry about that. But I love this card because look at the view. Oh my gosh. And I love that there's this pathway in the water that's being made. This lovely pathway that's magically being made. She's listening to a shell. She's at peace. She is just in her, it looks like a spa day, doesn't it? But I mean, it's much more exotic than a spa day, right? This is a spa vacation. This is like, you know, a place to receive a magical, monumental, perhaps revelation. If you're ready to receive a revelation, beautiful Aries, and you want to claim that in the comments, let me know. I'd love to hear. Pisces. Hello, beautiful Pisces. How are you? How was the new moon for you? It was not an easy new moon. I feel it was quite emotional. I felt it really emotionally. I did a lot of clearing. I did some shadow excavation, which was really productive and wonderful revelations. So I hope that you had a good moon for you, a good new moon in your sign as well. We were meant to clear away any remnants of the old era, which I know is a process. It doesn't happen in, one night by any means, but we were meant to do that. So I hope that you feel lighter after your new moon. And now this full moon in Libra 2 weeks later is happening in your 8th house. The 8th house is a transformational house. It's the house of death and rebirth. It's the house of both our long-term financial support, so things like savings and investments, nest eggs, real estate, any assets that you own, but also your emotional and sexual intimacy with another or with others. Back to the financial part for a second. It's also loans, taxes, and a lot of people, of course, are going to be doing taxes around this time. So that could be it for you. You could be completing that. After all, full moons are completions, endings, wrapping something up. That could feel really, really good to get your taxes done if you haven't already. Or you could feel like this is more about a relationship. After all, it's Libra energy. I mean, Libra is the scales. Libra is also justice and what has to be done. It's contractual arrangements. We could say we have a contract with the government to pay our taxes, right? But it is a place that we are often emotionally attached. There's emotional, charges. We can feel emotionally charged during a Libra full moon in the 8th house because that's just the nature of the 8th house. The 8th house is where we are meant to go deep, recognize something gets illuminated, we see it, we make any changes that are necessary, and then we go forward. Also, a full moon in the 8th house can mean that you are splitting up assets or resources. This is the house of shared resources. If you're going through any kind of ending with another person, if you own anything together, you could be splitting up things that you own. I know that's very difficult when you're going through that. So I want to say, my heart is with you. And then also, like, if you had a parent pass away or you had someone pass away and you had to go through their, if you were the executor of their estate, or if you have to sell, have an estate sale or something like that, something like that could be going on during a full moon like this. So I talk about boundaries in part 1 of this video, boundaries and taking care of you and making sure your emotional needs are met. And it's possible that a pattern in relationship could come up for you to show itself to you, a pattern to heal, a relationship pattern, especially having to do with your own feelings and how you nurture them and whether you feel supported in your emotional being within relationships, and if not, what needs to shift. So Pisces, let us see what the cards have to say. And yes, a full moon can be a wonderful manifestation. So anything to do with relationship, money, returns on investments, for example, that can all be happening during a full moon as well. Venus is squaring Pluto. So if you have assets here or, investments that you are concerned about and you really want to pay attention to them and how they're doing, just know that Venus square Pluto. We'll see what happens, but that is 2 days. The exact square is 2 days after the full moon on the 3rd. And so I believe that we're going to feel that in the financial markets for sure. We'll see. But let's see what the cards have to say for you. Pisces. And that's not financial advice. I am not, if I knew how to time the market, as we say, believe me, I'd be doing a lot better. I do not know how to time the market, but I try to apply the astrology whenever I can. And sometimes I'm right. And sometimes there are other aspects that flip the scales in the other direction. This is Libra, this is a scale, so we shall see. Pisces. Retreat. Take a mini retreat. Listen to the voice of your soul. Pisces, this reminds me of you. She's wrapped up in this beautiful spiral. She's on the beach. There's your water. This is you. This is like mermaid energy. And your energy is connected to the 12th house of retreat. So if you need a mini retreat, if you want a mini retreat, if you're ready to just listen to the voice of your soul, to connect with your higher self, to connect with the divine, I'm just getting this image of the crown chakra, to bring unconditionally loving light through your crown into your body, cleansing your chakras, uplifting your energy, allowing yourself to go to a whole other place to receive guidance, perhaps. Then this card is giving you a big permission slip if you needed one. Beautiful Pisces, if this resonates or anything else and you want to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Aquarius. Hello, beautiful Aquarius. Aquarius, you're going to experience this full moon in Libra, which makes a lovely trine to your energy. The wind at your back, it fills up your sails. Things fall into our lap with trines often. If you're one of the ones most affected, in other words, if you have planets or points around 12 degrees of your sign, you'll get this lovely trine. In the 9th house is where it's happening for you, which is the house of expansion. Expansion, seeking, the quest, a spiritual retreat, perhaps, your spiritual beliefs, releasing, letting go of anything that is not in alignment with you any longer. Some of you could be literally sailing off into the sunset, going to some exotic place. That is the 9th house as well. New adventures, new horizons, long distance travel. You could be teaching something, learning something, taking a course, getting some sort of a degree, starting that, ending that, graduating. Especially a full moon's often a graduation point. You could be getting that certification or graduating from a program. This is also the house of podcasting, broadcasting, publishing, sharing your enthusiasm, sharing your philosophy. Also justice, government entities, jumping through hoops, following rules or restrictions sometimes that are laws that governments have set out or things we have to do. I hope you're not involved in a lawsuit, but just because that can be so painful and stressful. But if you are, this trine, and it is coming to culmination during this full moon, the trine certainly speaks well of that. It depends on what else is being activated in your chart, other transits and so on. But for your Aquarius energy, it's very favorable. So beautiful Aquarius, how do you want to expand? What new scenery do you need? Are you going on a new adventure? Let us know. I would love to celebrate with you. What are you doing that is expanding you? And sometimes it is, we go through some sort of mini awakening. You could be reading a book. I've had so many experiences reading books, especially in times of my life when I was in a real expansion phase, when I was in an awakening phase and I read something and that alone, awakened me on an intellectual level that can lead to a deeper awakening as well. So let's see, Aquarius, what the cards have to say for you and your Libra full moon. Aquarius. Ooh, the cards really want to move. You got listening. Listening. It says, listen to your wise self. Let your inner compass direct the course of your life. So if you are still trying to decide what to do, if you don't know what would expand you, um, listen to the wise part of you. And if you need help doing that, she's leaning up against a mirror. So she's being mirrored back. Her true self is being mirrored back to her. Do something that will allow, a believing mirror, as Julia Cameron calls it in her book, The Artist's Way. Being a believing mirror is something that, or receiving that believing energy from another is something that might be really helpful for you. I can certainly offer that to you through a clarity coaching session or an astrology consultation, or any other way that you want to get that mirroring back. Mirroring back could be really helpful to you. You could do journaling, you could do automatic writing. I have lots of tools in my book, The Magic of Saying Yes. Whatever you feel like doing, beautiful Aquarius, listening to your wise self, receiving that wisdom and letting your inner compass direct the course of your life rather than maybe what other people are saying you should do. If you feel at all confused, if you feel at all like you're getting a lot of input from a lot of different places, then this is saying it's time to hear it from the voice of your own soul. Beautiful Aquarius, if anything I shared resonates and you want to share in the comments, I would love to hear. Capricorn, hello, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn, you're going to experience your full moon in Libra in your 10th house of career. Is there something ending, closing out, culminating for you regarding career, life purpose, expressed? The way that you do your purpose, whether that is through a vocation or a passion, or if you're not sure what your purpose is, whatever you do, however you spend your time, how you invest a lot of your energy, that's often the 10th house. Also, you could be getting recognition. You could be receiving an award. You could be just simply receiving appreciation from a supervisor or a coworker, or if you have your own business, you could be receiving that from clients, or you could be, because it's, this is an important place to have a full moon. It's on an angle of your chart. It's your midheaven. It's your career point. This could also be that you're retiring, you're semi-retiring, you're taking a sabbatical, you are doing something different with your work. We do have Aries energy now, Saturn and Neptune in Aries. That is really causing, I don't like the word causing, activating a turning point for a lot of people. If you have planets or points in the early degrees of your sign, you could be making a big choice or decision with that Aries energy. The word pivot, it's because I laugh at it because it's become such a corporate word, pivot. Maybe it was always a corporate word. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that word. I don't know why it makes me laugh. It's, sometimes the corporate lingo, I think it's interesting. I've had my share of corporate jobs, so I get it. But anyway, you could be making some sort of practical change in your life that is reflected in how you spend your time. And you could be thinking about legacy. You could be thinking about, what you want to pass down, how you want to express. Maybe you are walking away from the corporate job and you are moving toward something that feels more vocational to you. You want to feel like you're living your purpose. You want to maybe have your own business, even if it's scary. It usually is. Starting something new that feels like, it's for some of you, the next chapter of your life. I think for the cardinal signs, this is a big shift, turning point time, especially, like I said, if you have planets or points in your sign or the other cardinal signs in the very early degrees. So beautiful Capricorn, let us see what the cards have to say for you for this full moon. Again, ending, completion, culmination, manifestation, something coming full circle, something that is closing out so that you can begin a new cycle, beginning of a new cycle. Okay. Capricorn. And if you want to share what's going on with you in any of these areas and leave me a comment, I'd love to hear. Let's see what your card is. Risk. That's Aries energy, and the Saturn and Neptune are squaring your energy. They are requiring some sort of getting out of your comfort zone. Risk. Take a risk. You have the power within to move mountains. And Capricorn, that's a key word for you, mountains, right? I love that she's on top of the mountain. She's gotten there. She is doing this wonderful ballet move. She's very lyrically graceful. You know, she's done the hard things. She climbed to the top of the mountain. Maybe you've done that too. Maybe you're at a peak or pinnacle of your career or of your work or whatever it is you do. Some of you maybe not work. Maybe have devoted your time to a family member, and maybe that's over for you. Or you've devoted your time to something that you realize you've graduated from it. It's run its course. Now it's time to take a risk, Capricorn. What would you do if time, money, and resources were not at issue? What would you do? What risk would you take if you could not possibly fail? That question at least gives us a sense of what our heart most wants. Before we start, coming up with all the reasons, which the mind will do, why we can't have something, right? Why it's scary, why we shouldn't risk what we already have. But this is the universe giving you a big yes for taking a risk. So if you want to claim that or share anything in the comments, you have the power within to move mountains, beautiful Capricorn. You can move mountains. Let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius. Beautiful Sag. You are going to experience your Libra full moon in the 11th house of hopes, wishes, and dreams, the house of fulfillment, the house that is asking you, what does your heart want most going forward? This house is the house of the world in the tarot, the world card, which signifies the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. Also, supporters, friends, allies fall in the 5th house, long-term financial gains, social media platforms, branding or promoting a product or a service, community, the people that we consider to be our tribe. We want to feel supported in 11th house energy, but we can take our enthusiasm and put something out into the world that is, that brings back the support we need, but also that helps us to give back what we most want to give to our community, the world, and so on. Sag, you get a sextile from Libra energy. Your fire, Libra's air. It makes a lovely, harmonious combustion, positive combustion. The sparks flying. Also online dating here, speaking of sparks. In the 11th house. So you could be starting up a romance. A romance could be coming to some sort of high point. That could be happening. You could be letting go of a romance that somebody you met during, or whenever you met them. But full moons can be endings too. They can be closing something out if it's not right for you, if it's not meant for you. There's a lot of Pluto energy going on during this full moon. I talk about it in part 1. Pluto wants us to detoxify anything that isn't right for us, set clear boundaries, be discerning, be aware when something's over the line for us. So watch that if you're involved in anything that has you questioning, anything that feels, the thing with Pluto is we feel very passionate. We can obsess. They can obsess. Pluto's a hard one sometimes because the passion runs high, but boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. So beautiful Sag, it could be a passionate creative project for you. Doesn't have to necessarily be a romance. I mean, after all, we've got the sun, the moon will be in your 11th, but the sun will be in your 5th house of creativity. So it could be, that you're pregnant too. But I'm getting this strong vibe for some of you that this is about like deciding where you want to travel. I feel this very strong, like travel bug or desire to have new scenery, see something new, travel, go someplace, start a new project, maybe travel with a friend or a lover, do something fun. Do something that you feel like is, I feel this like some of you really want to do something that's going to get you ahead, whatever getting ahead means for you. It could be starting a new business, could be putting your work out onto a social media platform, sharing something, sharing your wisdom or your joy or your enthusiasm or your life in some way, your story, Sag. Okay, so I've been shuffling. Let's see what the cards have to say for you for your Libra full moon, sextiles, opportunities, solutions, harmonious. You take the initiative and then you get something, you get the payback from you taking the initiative. Sagittarius. Relaxation. We've gotten a lot of this kind of theme: rejuvenation, revelation, relaxation. Allow yourself to be lazy, Sag. It's okay to do nothing. And this is really a vacation vibe, right? If not a vacation, a day off or a weekend of just relaxing. The butterfly, it will be transformational for you. A lot of red root chakra energy in this card as well. But then I see down here, it looks like mermaid energy down here, mermaid fins. Yeah, she's a mermaid. She's a mermaid. Her fins are in the water. Her body is in the boat. Now I see. Now I see in the canoe. Okay. So maybe getting out on the water for some of you. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you see in this card, what this inspires you to do. Beautiful Sag, I'd love to hear. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, you're going to experience your Libra full moon in the 12th house of the mystical realms. The 12th house is not of this world. It is the ethereal plane. It is your subconscious mind. Sometimes we reprogram, rewire our subconscious narrative or thinking in a 12th house full moon. It could be an emotional full moon for you because it is the 12th house. You could very well have something from the unconscious come up, or you could see a subconscious pattern or dynamic, especially in relationship because it's Libra energy. I mean, it's not just Libra energy, it's also about balancing anything in your life, prioritizing, getting a sense of what's important to you, anything out of balance, bringing balance back to it. And after all, where this full moon is happening on the axis of the 6th and 12th house, the moon will be in the 12th, the sun will be in the 6th. 6th and the 12th house axis is really about our health in a lot of ways, how we use our energy, our work life, our schedules, and then how that plays out in our like overall health, our dream state. You know, are we sleeping well? Are we having dreams that are giving us messages? Are we acting on those messages when they're profound and we're meant to take some sort of action as a result? We can feel that. Scorpio, you're so psychic, you would definitely feel that. Or for some of you, this could be because full moons are endings, culminations, closures, but also they can be manifestations. So something could be closing out for you based on the fact that you realize it's not good for you. For example, something toxic to you, whether it's at work or it's a food or a drink or something you put in your body that you know is addictive or just not good for you to continue. Also, just the rhythm of your life. You could want to change the rhythm of your life. You know, we all have a rhythm, to a pace to our daily life, right? You could get very smitten by something metaphysical. You could feel obsessed about some sort of learning about, for example, mediumship, tarot, psychic channeling, astrology, anything to do with spiritual awakening. You could really go deep on that. And if you want to start a career that is any of the esoteric arts, that would fall into the 12th house. You could have a spiritual awakening during a 12th house full moon for sure. I mean, full moons illuminate, and your illumination is going to be from the inside out. It's going to be something very deep, something that was either subconscious or unconscious before. It could show you where you've self-sabotaged, where you have self-doubt. It could show you where you have a tendency to escape. And it's like when we push out of the water, we see the light for, shining on the water, and we push out and we're like, we come up for air and we're like, okay, now I see, right? You could have an experience like that. Something you didn't see, now you see. So watch out for this during this full moon for a desire to want to escape into fantasy. Nothing wrong with that. But if it's keeping you from hearing the voice of your soul or from seeing something that you're meant to see, then like this is a full moon where we could drink too much. We could do something that binge watch something and just not be in touch with what's really going on for us within our own relationship dynamics with ourselves or with others. And we just want to make sure we get that illumination, whatever it's meant to be, because that's what's going to move us forward. Beautiful Scorpio, let us see what the cards have to say for you. I love this. I love a 12th house full moon because that's when we can have like dreams where we get messages in our dreams or something, astral travel. We tap into the Akashic records. Good time to get an astrology reading or some sort of a tarot reading or something to, if you want that kind of support, it's a really good time to get that. Because your voice is the voice of your soul is talking to you, and the veil is thin between the worlds when your full moon is happening in the 12th house. Magical, mystical full moon for you, Scorpio. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Scorpio. Self-love, care for your body. Self-love and self-acceptance are the ultimate acts of self-care. Care for your body. You know what that means for you, Scorpio. For some of you, it's sleep. For some of you, it's food, the right foods, nutrition. For some of you, it's exercise. For others of you, it's meditation, relaxation. You know what it is for you. If you want to claim this in the comments, your self-love, or anything else that you want to share, I love hearing from you. I'd love to hear. Beautiful friend, thank you so much for joining me for this Libra full moon video. Thank you for your likes, for your comments, for your shares, for your subscribes. When you like, comment, share, subscribe, and hype this video, you send a message to the algorithm that then puts it out to more people who love astrology, and you really help support the channel. Thank you so much for that. If you'd like to do an astrology consultation with me or a clarity coaching session, go to my website, check out the testimonials that other clients have shared after working with me. For astrology readings, we can do a relationship harmony reading that's very Libra full moon, or we can look into your own natal chart, heart's desire, life purpose, a 90-minute astrology consultation if you'd like time to talk in more depth about whatever is going on for you, whatever is most important for you right now. Go to my website, check out the offerings. The links to both my astrology and coaching pages are always in the description box below. And as promised, I have a free gift for you, which is a soothing guided meditation, reconnecting you to your spirit, to your unconditional, loving presence, the divine, your own higher self. The divine has a gift for you. Find out what your gift is when you do my free guided meditation. To get that, just go to my website, subscribe for free to my weekly inspirational astrology updates, and you will get your free instant download meditation at the same time. My beautiful friend, I am very interested to see how this Libra full moon plays out. Let me know how you're feeling the energies. And until my next video, I'm sending you all my love.